Alright everybody, it is a little bit after midnight. Today is March 10th and daylight savings is happening today. We're going to lose an hour here in a little bit. Currently the time is 12:30, a little bit after midnight, and we got about an hour and a half till daylight savings takes place. And I haven't done a daylight savings video for you guys in a while, but I want to make sure I get this one done for you guys because later this year the voters in the state of Michigan will have the option to decide if Michigan keeps daylight savings or we stay an hour ahead from now on. So we'll see what happens. I personally am in favor of continuing keeping things the way they are because I do like going back and forth from daylight savings just because it helps give us the daylight when we need it. Especially when the winter comes, it's good to have that hour back as well in November. But anyway, we're going to get started here. We're going to start with the Sly triple chime grandfather clock. So open it up. We got a couple new clocks as well, and you guys are going to start to see some of those. I'm going to start to post clock videos more often whenever I can. And since it's late at night, most of these clocks are turned off for the night. The chimes are at least. It's about 12, a little bit after 12:30 in the morning. So kind of just listening to it. And that was the hour strike there. So now we'll put that to 1:15. You can kind of hear it, and then it's about 12:31. Okay, now we'll move over to the Howard Miller Lewis, which right now has this green shell on it. And Howard Miller Lewis is actually running a little fast. A lot of them are running fast. Sometimes these clocks are a pain to adjust, get them regulated, because most of the time after I wind them after a week, I just make sure they're on the correct time. But this clock probably just needs to be slowed down a little bit. And since the chime is on silent, we don't need to stop. We can just go right to our desired time, which is going to be 1:30. So Howard Miller Lewis and the grandfather clock are done. Let's move on to the Mantle clocks. Okay, we'll change the Centurion next. Now this clock was not working for a long time, but this clock is now back up and running. I actually took it apart and oiled it up, and this clock runs like new again. So this clock is back up and running, which I'm really glad because it kind of sucked. This thing was sitting up here for probably 7 months not running, and the fact that I finally took the time to get it going is great because now it runs perfectly. So, and this one again is running a little fast, so we'll set it to the correct time. And this clock needs to be wound, so I'm going to do that tomorrow. And the Bulova says it is 12:34. I'm going to change the Bulova and the bird clock here in a little bit, so we'll change those soon. Alright guys, now we're going to change these clocks up ahead. Sorry, I apologize. I kind of had to take a little break, so that's why all the clocks are a little bit further ahead than the last clip. We got all these clocks right here. We got chains that are here on my desk. So we'll start with the Howard Miller. This is the one that has the chimes that are very similar to the Worthington. So what we're going to do is just move it an hour ahead and set it to 54. Now, because the clock is silenced by the switch, we don't have to stop for the chimes. This right here is a Seth Thomas clock. This is one of my newer additions. This one I got about a month or two ago. This one we will have to stop. This clock is currently on the wrong time, and that's because the chime got messed up when it was I didn't wind it. There was a day where I was away from home and I didn't wind it, and it messed up the chimes. So we're gonna set that to 5, and I got to move the hour hand back. And it's currently hour still, so we'll set that there. We're gonna move that back right about there, and we'll stop the pendulum on this clock, just so that way we can take care of it another time. We'll do the Howard Miller. This is the rare Howard Miller clock, and again, chime is silenced, so all we gotta do is just move the minute hand. We'll do the Sly triple chime Mantle clock. Again, this one's silenced like all of them are because it's nighttime. So all we gotta do is just move it ahead an hour. And we can come over here to the Webster. So as you can kind of see, there's a pattern here. At nighttime, all my clocks are silenced. Now we'll move over here. We'll take care of the Waterbury, which just went off, as you could hear. Sorry about that. Now we're here. So all we gotta do is just move this ahead. And this one's running a little fast. Okay, that's good right there. Gonna have to adjust that. All right, all these Mantle clocks are good. Now let's move on to the next few. Okay, this right here is another new arrival. This one's in my collection. This one's actually in my room. And because this one doesn't have a chime switch, I just don't wind the winding power keyhole. So all we'll have to do is just move it down. And this is a Seth Thomas Regulator Bim Bam movement clock. You notice it does not chime. So we'll put that on 206. This clock is now set. All right, everybody, we got a couple more clocks. We got to spring forward another hour. We got two OGs we're going to continue with. The Herschede, my first wind-up clock, and the Bulova. So start by moving the Herschede ahead. This clock can't be silenced, so we will have to stop and let it chime. Now, although this clock cannot be silenced, fortunately it is a very quiet chiming clock, so it does not make much noise. It's very quiet, which is nice. Now we'll move on to the OG, the real OG. This clock was the first clock I really ever got for my collection. This is a quartz movement Bulova. This is a chiming clock, and at this hour it is silenced. And you don't even have to stop anyway for every 15 minutes because the clock only counts ahead 15 minutes before chiming. So, all right, we're gonna set the time. It's always kind of tricky with the pendulum like this, but should be able to reach back there. Yep, there we go. I'm gonna set this to 2:14. As you can hear, it clicked into place because it does click into place at the top of the hour. And in this case, we're gonna set that about 1:14 and 30 seconds. This clock will click into place at the top of the hour to initiate the chime sequence. That it does not count ahead for. And just like that. Now this clock is done. So we'll get this one out of here. Next one we're gonna do will be the Sharp analog clock. This one also sits in my room, but rather than going up to grab it, I just figured I'd just bring it down here and off the wall. So this one's set to 1:15. We'll set it to 2:15 and just move it back just a little bit. Perfect. So this one's all set. For this next one, I kid you guys not, I literally got this clock for $1. We got this little alarm clock, analog clock. So this one actually is not running. Oh, never mind, it is running, but the battery, as you can see, is pretty low because that light's supposed to be a lot brighter when you push the top of this. This is set as well for an alarm as well, which is what that red line is for. That's how you set the alarm. It's because you have the one switch for the alarm, and then you got the one that sets the actual time. If we just pop off the back of this, we can pop this old Westinghouse battery out. Pop this old battery out, and then we got a new Duracell battery right here. Put that in there, and now this clock is good. So this is a nice little movement, and as you can see, that's a lot brighter now, meaning you can see we got a better battery in there. Now we can set the time, set this to 2:16. Right, there you go, 2:16. What's cool about this clock is, like I said, it's got the alarm feature as well. So if you guys want to hear it, I can demonstrate that real quick. But you twist this switch right here to set the time, and then if you want it to go, let's say in this case 2:15, you kind of set it to about 2 1/4. So that's about 2 o'clock. We'll set it to about 2 1/2, and then we'll flip this switch on. That allows the alarm to go, and then the alarm starts to go off. And you'll notice it changes pitch. Now it just got louder. And then it's steady. So then we just push the top of that, and that shuts that off. So we'll flip the switch to turn that off. But now this clock is all set. This is just a basic alarm clock. Again, also by Sharp, just like that analog clock. So it's a nice little clock. And I kid you guys not, I literally got this one for $1 at an estate sale. Not even kidding, brand new out of the package. $1 for this clock. So I figured I would get it. And we're going to move on to the last one, the National Audubon Society Bird Melody Singing Clock, whatever you want to call it. This was also a clock I actually got from an estate sale, only for like a few bucks. And this is a nice clock because it does bird sounds. It plays bird chirp melodies. So all we got to do is just go back here. So you got the power to the bird singing melodies right there. And then you got the quartz movement right there. And these are the instructions, which it tells you on there. You can read that if you want. And this clock, as it says, based on the light sensor, right there, the light sensor is how this clock is silent. So if it's dark in the room, this clock will not chime. If it's bright in the room, it will. And the light sensor is right there above the great horned owl. And we'll let you guys hear it. So we're going to chime the 2 o'clock bird, which is the black-capped chickadee. So let's move this ahead about an hour. And there he is. That's the bird that sings the 2 o'clock melody. And then I just set it to about 1. Actually, no, it's about 1:19. So we'll move that ahead just a little bit more. Perfect. And just like that, guys, all the clocks are done. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I figured we gotta make sure we get this video done this time, because I know in the past I've struggled to get these videos done for you guys of these daylight savings, changing all the clocks. So I wanted to make sure I got this done for you guys this year, because this could be the final year in Michigan that we end up changing the clocks, because come November, in the November election, in the ballot, the voters will get to choose whether we keep daylight savings or not. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I am in favor of keeping it, because I like the time change, especially as, you know, it gets darker earlier in the evening. It's better to have it in the morning, just because based on what I do and a bunch of other people do for work and stuff, it's good to have it bright in the morning, because a lot of you guys know currently I work outside, and it's good to have it bright, especially for what I do. So all right, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope you guys just enjoyed seeing all the clocks sprung forward an hour for Daylight Savings 2024. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time for another clock video. Goodbye.